So which zombies map is the best in each game? It's a question I have thought about for a while now, and I'm sure a ton of you have too. And I'm sure like some of you already have your perfect list that this is the best map, but that's the worst map. But I wanted to see if I can get what everyone thought was the best map to try to form an overall consensus and somewhat of an objective opinion. So I set on the task to ask the same question on a ton of different forums, servers, and Reddit posts to see what the overall opinion is on what is the best zombies map in every game. So to start off, I want to lay out some ground rules I use for my research, if you even want to call it that. First, Treyarch maps only. Oh, but Goose, IW has the best maps. I know. Listen, I'm just too broke to afford any of the IW maps past Zombies in Spaceland. So maybe one day I'll redo it with truly all Zombies maps. But for the sake of this, only Treyarch mainline maps. The second was I asked everyone to try to be objective, try to refrain from, oh, this is my favorite map because I grew up playing it with my bud Timmy when we were 12. Like, I wanted to see what people thought was the best map because of its design, layout, flow, everything, not just my personal preference. Next, I asked everyone to optionally put a 1 to 2 sentence reason why they chose that map, as to gather some reasons on why they chose that one to be the best in that specific game. Finally, I want to hear from if you like a map that isn't number one, or you see lower, or I talk negatively, or you see others talk negatively on, that's fine. Your favorites are your favorites. No one should tell you what you should or shouldn't like. This list is purely for fun and to see what the community thinks. Whatever your favorite map or game is, that's amazing. That's perfect. That's great, honestly, for you. And don't let this list sway you or discourage you from liking those things. So with all that laid out, let's get into the rankings for each game, starting with the first one, World at War. Now, World at War's rankings were probably the biggest landslide of them all. Like, no game had this steep of a jump from second to first place in terms of votes. From last to first, it was Knockdown and Toten with 4 votes. This does not really surprise me at all. It's very small. It's the first ever zombies map. Doesn't really have much to it. It's kind of just survive till however long you can make it and then die. I can see why it's this low. Next is Shi No Numa with 6 votes. With the introduction of dogs, traps, the OG crew, and the Wonderwaff, you would think it'd be higher, but no, only got 6 votes. In second place is Verrückt with 9. This surprised me, as many people cited liking it because of the... This surprised me because a lot of people like this map because of how scary it actually feels. It is probably one of the only zombies maps that truly feels like a horror-based map. A lot of people decided to like this map because it feels like the zombies are actually breaking in to kill you, not just a vehicle for a normal survival mode. And no surprise, in first place is Darius with an absolute landslide of 75 votes. But to be fair, out of all games, something like this happening here makes the most sense. Darius added a ton to the zombies mode, not just like the pack-a-punch or teleporters, but almost like the design philosophy that the series uses going forward. Because if you've played other maps, you can kind of see that all maps pull from Darius in a certain way. They all have a large area for you to run around. They all have a small corridor or funnel for you to be able to camp in. They all have some sort of weird X factor, like a teleporter or a giant that will step on you. Outside of non-Treyarch maps, every map has 4 perks, a wonder weapon, a pack-a-punch, a large area, and a camping spot, just like Darius. Darius took from what all the maps prior added and finished it off, culminating in the first true COD Zombies experience. While World at War started zombies, we're going to now get into what most of the fandom's first game, including mine, with Black Ops. Black Ops 1 Zombies is widely considered one of, if not the best zombies games of all time, and for good reason. BO1 added genuine Easter eggs, boss zombies, and unique wonder weapons for each map. Black Ops 1 really felt like the first time the mode was actually starting to become itself. And the votes show that. From least to highest, it is 5 with a fitting 5.
Fuck the Pentagon, dude.
Next is Shangri-La with 9. A lot of people like this map's difficulty, but a lot of people also hate it for its difficulty. Some find the fact that it's kind of complex and a little bit like a labyrinth really fun and unique, while some despise it for being like a labyrinth and thinking it's unique in a bad way. So I can see why it's down here, but I can also see why it got more votes than a map like 5. Next, with 14 votes, is the iconic Kino der Toten. I'm struggling to find like stuff to say that hasn't been said for Kino. It is probably in many people's minds the perfect survival map. Has a fun area to traverse. I mean, the theater itself wouldn't be that interesting, but Kino is interesting. It has a great training area, a banger Easter egg song. Like, I use this song in all my other videos. It added the thunder gun. The only reason it's really down here is mainly because many see it as feeling like a World at War map on Black Ops 1, which it is. As some of you may know, Kino originally started on World at War before moving to Black Ops 1 due to the fact that it would have come out right before Black Ops 1 came out. But that doesn't stop this map from being beloved and being an overall amazing map. Even though there's poopy diaper zombies. Yeah. Fucking weird. In third place, we have Ascension with 19 votes. So many people say this is the perfect map to just show off your play. So many people say this is the perfect map to shut off your brain and play, like a true survival experience that doesn't require a lot to learn. It's pretty much just a better Kino, except for one crucial flaw. The Space Monkeys are the only reason, in my opinion and a couple others, that this isn't the best survival map. They just ruin everything. They disrupt the flow because of what they do. They're stupid, they're red, they look like fucking hairy nutsacks. So they disrupt the flow with what they do. What did they do? They steal your perks. And I don't mean like they just steal it temporarily. No, if you let it gone, it's gone. You got a couple of another 3,000 for Speed Cola. I mean, these monkeys tear families apart. I mean, look at this guy. It's a Redditor, so like, can't feel too bad for him. But look, he hates monkeys. And that just feels wrong. Almost hitting first place is Call of the Dead with 23 votes. I'm actually quite surprised this didn't beat first. Many people love the Celebrity Cast, not just because they're fun and unique characters, but because it's like they're paying homage to the zombie media as a whole, which is something that I feel like we don't get very much nowadays. Alongside that, George added a form of pure horror to the gameplay loop. People like the environment. The Easter egg song, Not Ready to Die, is a constant on my playlist. The only negative thing I saw people say was that the wonder weapons are pretty underwhelming, especially with some of the cool ideas like the scavenger and the VR11 just being absolute fucking doo-doo ass cheeks. But other than that, people love this map. And first is The Moon with 25 votes. I am quite surprised, but also not shocked at all. The Moon is probably one of the most creative maps to date. Like, picture yourself in the meeting pitching this idea. Okay, boss, get this. Zombies on the moon with a weird pyramid and an inflation kink.
We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh, hell no! That's hell no!
Like, absolutely wild we even got this, but I am glad we did. This map design is amazing. I'm actually one of the weirdos that like the astronaut. I think he's pretty cool and adds kind of a sense of dread that you can never stay in the same spot for too long. The wonder weapon is really fun, and I really wish we get another wonder weapon like this. And the end of the Easter egg is probably one of, if not the best endings to an Easter egg to date. The only thing I have a big issue with is the Easter egg itself. Now, a lot of people have always shitted on Moon's Easter egg, but I don't think a lot of people talk about just how bad it is. Like, when people talk about zombies Easter eggs being unnecessarily hard or complicated, my mind leaps to the moon. You need to be a specific character. You need to do a ton of convoluted steps. You need to get a wonder weapon that you can only get in the box, and you need to juggle a bunch of things. It's just a lot for a really cool Easter egg, but it's still a lot. So I can see why this cannot be everyone's favorite. But now to the biggest hit or miss COD of all time with Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is quite the controversial zombies game. It has 2 of the community's favorite maps and 2 of the community's least favorite maps. From least to most, we have Town with 2. I wasn't even going to allow survival maps, but this one had 2 votes, so I let it slide. Not much to say though. It's Town. It's part of Transit, which expects some like witty one-line. Tying last is Die Rise with also 2. This makes a lot of sense. While the Sliquifier is an awesome wonder weapon and the idea of a vertical map is sublime, the execution sucks ass. This map is clunky. The Easter egg is flat out boring. Who's Who is doing that, who's who thing. The fact that you can fall is so stupid. Like, you made it a vertical map where you had to jump between the buildings, and then also made it you can just fall and instantly die. Like, at least in later maps, if you had to hop between stuff, they just had a pad that instantly did it. And while I actually like the jumping jacks as a enemy, they're just reused assets from the Nova 6 crawlers, which detracts from the fact that they're fun and unique because their design isn't. This map is the pinnacle of why Black Ops 2 is so hit or miss. Next, with 9 votes, is Buried. This map is just alright. Buried is a good map, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's just kind of there. It's a really simple map and doesn't really have any X factor that makes it super interesting. Even Leroy, the witches, the paralyzer, the time bomb, the chalk, all very cool ideas. But every time I think about Buried, I always just think of it as like Town XL. It doesn't have anything that really catches my eye. And Leroy doesn't live up to my sugar daddy Ted. I don't have much to say about the map, and neither do any of the voters. So without further ado, in second place is Mob of the Dead with 39 votes. Mob of the Dead is such an amazing map. This used to be my number 1 map of all time until my opinion got worse, and we'll see that later on. But this map setting is phenomenal. The characters are likable, another celebrity cast. The Easter egg is fun, and I think that is just an understatement. The Easter egg is so awesome. Just being able to build the plane and flying down to the Golden State Bridge for Pack-a-Punch and figuring out you have to break the cycle by letting Weasel walk out alive while the rest die. It is just such an amazing Easter egg. Brutus is probably one of the coolest boss zombies. It took the horror and dread of the astronaut and George Romero and turned it 12 notches up. The only issue is it's so complicated that it's really hard to warrant playing unless you're playing it for the Easter egg or for some sort of challenge. Black Ops 2 all the way to Black Ops 4 sometimes feel like they need an encyclopedia to play certain maps, and I feel like Mob of the Dead was the first to start that. It takes so much just to get up and going, to get the Hell's Retriever, the Spork, the Blundergat, the plane parts, everything just to get all the way down to being able to survive, that sometimes for a lot of people, if you want to just sit down and play, it's not really your go-to. But the map being so complicated doesn't detract from it being amazing. It still is one of the best maps of all time. It just suffers from being a little complicated, but it is still truly a phenomenal map. That means in first is none other than Origins with 41. Now, what can I say that hasn't been said already? Many people already glazed this map to near death, but for good reason, to be fair. This map is purely phenomenal. They added the Premise crew, which is personally my favorite form of the crew. The Giants being a giant looming thing that steps on you. The Staffs, which are some of the most unique wonder weapons even now and set a standard for a wonder weapon that's going to be shared among every character. Just the location as well is personally one of my favorites. A snowy war zone is such a unique place to do it in, with the crazy place beneath it. It's just a perfect area to have a zombies map in. Origins is a blast. So fun, so difficult, but so rewarding. A really well-designed map that still suffers from the issue of being too complex, but gets more of a pass because it is an amazing map. Wait. Some of you with a keen eye may have noticed a map is missing. A map wasn't voted on. The only map out of all of the games that didn't get a single vote outside of survival maps, which I didn't even want to count. Transit got no votes. But why? More importantly, how? Even Die Rise got a vote. And that map fucking sucks. Well, to be fair, I'm not entirely too sure how no one voted on it, and I'm not really sure why no one voted on it, but I also have a pretty good guess. To be honest, Transit is a poorly designed map. Take out the bus and everything else on that map kind of sucks. Now, I like the Avogadro, fuck, who knows how to pronounce it, but that's purely design-wise. In the game, he's a pain in the ass. No enemy should require you to have certain equipment to defeat it, especially equipment that otherwise is very out of the way. Furthermore, this map is just unbearable on solo. Like, I encourage you, go play this map and build the jet gun, get Pack-a-Punch and all that stuff, and you'll realize this map just fucking blows on solo. It's really only good if you have friends. But most of all, on my Transit short, where I made fun of it, so many of these fuckers came out of the woodwork saying, it's so good, stop hating, form your own opinions. Huh? Well, where are you guys? Why didn't you vote for your shitty fucking... Black Ops 3. The widely considered peak of the zombies game mode, which recently I've seen people actually dog on this game quite a bit, especially in the survey, but it's still one of my and many favorites. So without further ado, let's get into the rankings. With least to highest, it is Giant in last with 3 votes. I wasn't sure to count this one because it's just a remake of Derice, but it got enough votes and no one else voted for the Zombie Chronicles map that I decided to actually just count it. So yeah, it's Derice. Literally just Derice, but with the Premise crew. Arguably the best way to play Derice. Whether you think it should count or shouldn't, it's really up to how you think of it. Next up, we have Revelations with 4 votes. Yeah, this one kind of makes sense. Rev is an amazing homage to the series and an end to a amazing overarching story. Except it wasn't the end to the story, and they released Zombies Chronicles, which is just a way better homage to the series. On its own, the map is fine. It's unbalanced, a little clunky, and the Easter egg isn't the best. But it has an amazing design, it has really awesome references, and its story is some of the best. But it's hard to look at this map on its own because it had way better maps that predated it in its own game, and Zombie Chronicles came out, which was a way better look back on the series as a whole. So I get why it's down here despite it being a okay map. It just doesn't have anything that really sticks out because everything that it had got done better later on. Next on our lineup is Setsubo no Shima with 6 votes. This map is pretty good. The Easter egg is fun. The Wonder Weapon I actually really enjoy. The design is pretty interesting. It's like Shinonuma, but more expanded. And I don't know why it's gonna sound weird, but the HVK feels like this map's gun. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like the HVK was made for Setsubo. The only issue is that it's super hard to load up and play. As I had referenced with Mob of the Dead and even a little bit with Origins, it's really hard to get in and play on a map that's so complicated because it takes so long to set up. And Setsubo and a lot of Black Ops 3 maps have this issue. So while Setsubo is a really fun map, I never really want to go and play it, and not a lot of people do either. So a lot of people played it once or twice, and I was like, I'm done now. Speaking of hard to load up and play, in 3rd place with 11 votes is Gorod Krovi. This is the pinnacle of great map, no one ever wants to play it. Very similar to Setsubo. Great map design, great Easter egg, but it has a Wonder Weapon and pretty middling boss zombies. This map is just so amazing to look at and to admire the beautiful design choices that they made. But not to play though, it plays like shit. It falls into that same era of being so complicated that it's not fun to play. It's so complicated to just play and experience any of the cool stuff that Gorod Krovi has to offer that it suffers a lot. Because it's a great design map, has a dragon, takes place in Stalingrad, has some cool ideas for some boss zombies, has an awesome boss, but every time I think about playing it, I kind of get like a chill up my spine and want to close the game. In 2nd place is Shadows of Evil with 18 votes. Shadows of Evil is the first map that released for Black Ops 3 and is one of the most beautiful maps to date. Many people cited this map as their favorite purely because the design, atmosphere, music, and overall feel of Morgue City. Morgue City just offers this 1950s suave jazz look while also having that kind of horror element that Zombies has always kind of tried to maintain, but sometimes strayed from. The celebrity cast is awesome. I mean, being able to play as Jeff Goldblum in any video game is immediately like a 10 out of 10. And also introduced the Margwa. I mean, honest, I don't know why, but I love the Margwa and everyone loves the Margwa. I couldn't tell you a reason why I love the Margwa. Not only that, but Shadows of Evil had an amazing wonder weapon and a hell sword. Like, I sometimes forget that it has the hell sword, and I have to build it. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this game's fucking awesome. Everything about the design and environment of Morgue City is just why this map is so unforgettable. So why is it not first? If it's such a perfect map, why did it not get first place? Well, it simply falls to the issue that played the two maps before it. It's so damn complicated. Shadows of Evil is a very complicated and frankly tricky map. There's so much to do just to get like Pack-a-Punch in your perks. You have to worry about the Mark of the Beast and building all this stuff and doing the trials. It makes it unappealing for newcomers and veterans to hop in and just play. Furthermore, there's a ton of boss zombies. There's the Margwas, which are amazing. But then there's the meatballs, which are just and the parasites, which make me want to claw my fucking skin off. Oddly enough, Shadows of Evil is sort of a sequel to Mob of the Dead, but they both share the same tragic flaw. They don't feel like they're meant to be played in, survive, die, replay. They feel like they're made to be played, completed, and then not really played again. Nevertheless, Shadows of Evil, design-wise and everything else, 12 out of 10. But the gameplay loop is so hard that it really brings the map down from a all-time amazing, perfect map to just an amazing map. That means first, and are we really surprised, is Der Eisendrache with 45 votes. Der Eisendrache, in many people's eyes, is the perfect map. It's easy to learn, hard to master, fun Easter egg, amazing wonder weapons, great side things, amazing design, etc., etc. There really isn't much to say that hasn't been said. I didn't want to be unoriginal and just spiel out the classic, bows are really unique, the Easter egg super fun, it had the first traditional boss fight. Because yes, it added all of that stuff, but that's so played out and everyone says that, I really struggled to find my own words to put about this map. Der Eisendrache added a ton alongside improving and kind of setting the gold standard for things that were added previously. Like the staves that were added in Origins were done arguably better and in a much more refined format with the bows. All the previous Easter eggs had some sort of end goal and end thing, but having an actual boss fight and end cutscene really made it feel like the tie to an end of a level or end of a story. Der Eisendrache doesn't really have very many issues that aren't issues in Black Ops 3 itself. Like the zombies being able to one-tap you if you get in the air if you're unlucky. It is quite funny how in Black Ops 2, Mob of the Dead lost to Origins, and now in Black Ops 3, Shadows of Evil, which is a sequel to Mob of the Dead, lost to Der Eisendrache, which is a sequel to Origins. Black Ops 3 is considered the perfect zombies game, but I think that's incorrect. I would say it has some of the most perfect maps, but most of the maps have glaring flaws in the gameplay loop, and the actual balancing in the maps and the workings of the maps are iffy. Nevertheless, it's still an amazing game and still has some of the best designed maps in the entire series. Now to the biggest, you love it or you despise it zombies ever, Black Ops. Black Ops 4. Okay, yeah, this game isn't very well liked. But I have a guilty secret. I don't just like this game. It's my favorite zombies game. Oop, yep, that happens every time. Well, now that most of my audience and credibility is gone, I can explain myself. I don't know why. I just like playing every map except Voyage. But every map except Voyage is just so fun for me. I'm not a huge zombie story guy, so the whole story issue doesn't really affect my opinion. The only issue is the obvious bad perk system, but other than that, I just like all the maps. So on to map rankings. Last place with a measly 2 votes is Tag Der Toten. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Listen, as much as I am a Victus and Tag sympathizer, this map has a ton of issues. The wonder weapons are actually pretty cool, but very bland. They're just reused. And the design is obviously an expanded Call of the Dead, and I think it looks really pretty, but it doesn't expand Call of the Dead in any innovative ways. What makes this map truly bad is the Easter egg. And while I'm not a big zombie story fan, many of the people who are find this map a huge disgrace to the story. Not only is it the end to the Aether story, which is a huge overarching story starting from the first ever Zombies game, but they ended it on such a awful low note. They ended it on a remake of a map that the Aether crew weren't in, but not only that, they didn't end it with either Primus or the Ultimus crew. They ended it with the Victus crew, which were widely hated. That alone makes this map placement make sense. Next up is a tie. And for Black Ops 4, I'm going to try to speed through these a little bit. So we have Alpha, Omega, and Voyage of Despair with 2 each. Technically, it's a 3-way tie, but Tag had much more interesting things that I wanted to point out as flaws. While these maps both kind of share similar flaws, and both of the people who voted them didn't really have much to speak on the maps. These maps are both just okay in my book. I personally prefer Alpha Omega, and I don't think it's actually a very bad map. But the people who decided liking Alpha Omega really like the Wonder Weapon, really like being able to customize the Ray Gun Mark II and dual wield it and have the lasers, and like the fact that they took Nuketown Zombies map and actually made it an actual map, and they thought the Avogadro implication was way better than in Transit. However, no one really cited why they liked Voyage. A couple people had pointed out that they thought Voyage had really cool design, but really bad gameplay loop. But other than that, the both maps share very similar issues with an uninteresting Easter egg, tight spaces, a lot of stuff to build. Like, holy fuck, Black Ops 4 has so much shit to build in every single map. But they also share the issues of having really convoluted Easter egg steps, of having uninteresting boss zombies. So not much to really point out or to really praise upon. Next on this list is Classified with 5. 5. Get it?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Classified is the definition of okay. It's such a simple map that it's actually quite fun to hop in and get to around 30, 40 and leave for the night and then just stop playing. But its fault is its simplicity. It is so simple that there's not really a reason to play it except for high rounding. Its Easter egg is literally just getting to round 115, I think, and that's boring as shit. It's a fine map and actually really fun and one of my go-tos for if I want to just play a survival map, but there's not really much meat on its bones, and because it's a remake, there's no reason to really play it. And fourth is Blood or Dead with 6 votes. Blood or Dead actually struggles with the opposite reasons of Classified. It's way too fucking complex. I literally learned this map, learned how to get the health retriever, the magma gat, all of it. Played it a good chunk, forgot it, never felt like learning it again, so I've never played it again. The Easter egg is honestly amazing. That ending cutscene still brings a tear to my eye. The Wonder Weapon is the Blender Gat, Acid Gat, and Magma Gat, which are all fantastic. But the whole map is just so much that it's not really fun to play. Like Mob of the Dead, it's very complex and has so much to do that it's really hard to get into. And also, the community doesn't really care for it because it's a remake and expansion of Mob of the Dead, in which people say Blood of the Dead doesn't hold a candle to. There's not much to point out other than the fact that the map's really hard and really complex, which is a really big turnoff for a lot of the community. And the map itself is also reimagining of a considered one of the best maps, so people will say it's not as good. But the map itself is, in my opinion, fine, but just very complex. And third is my personal favorite map of all time, Dead of the Night with 19 votes. Dead of the Night is a beautiful mix of horror, fantasy, and zombies. The map taking place in a haunted manor really gives Luigi's Mansion vibes, and is also just a great set place. Adding vampires and werewolves to zombies, it's just such a brilliant idea. I'm surprised we hadn't gotten before. The cast is quite forgettable, which is one of the biggest downsides, but the wonder weapons, side stuff, main Easter egg, all of it is so unbelievably fun for me. However, while I think many will agree that the design and idea of Dead and Night is grow? However, while I think many people will agree that the design and idea of Dead and Night is amazing, not many will agree with me that side Easter eggs, wonder weapon, and main Easter egg are amazing. Listen, I know I criticize other maps for being really complex, but I for some reason spent a whole week learning the ins and outs of this map, so I love it. But yeah, this map is probably one of the most complex in the whole series. It's quite literally needs an essay just to set up anything. So many people will not want to play this map purely because of that. You need to get the silver bullets, melt them. If you want to get the max level Alistair Annihilator, that's 3 different wonder weapon steps. You gotta get to Pack-a-Punch. You gotta get to the Sentinel artifact. It's so much, and that's before round 10. The crew is also, again, very forgettable, and the map is pretty hard, so a lot of people just find that this map has so much that it's just not fun. And second is another one of my favorites, and honestly, probably, maybe my favorite, Ancient Evil with 23 votes. Ancient Evil is just one of the best design ideas for a zombies map ever. Zombies in ancient Greece with the power of the gods. They really cooked with this idea. It was really crazy that it came out in Black Ops 4, and I feel like it got swept under the rug because of that, and no one really talks about it. It is a perfect set place. Furthermore, Ancient Evil is a less complex Dead of the Night, so many people find it more digestible. Frankly, just take everything I said positively about Dead of the Night and put it here. It has amazing wonder weapons. It has amazing setting. It has amazing side Easter eggs, amazing main Easter eggs, really innovative stuff. The biggest downsides are that sometimes it can still be a little complex because it is very similar to Dead of the Night. And some of the boss zombies can be really annoying to deal with, and the gauntlets can be really annoying to build. But outside of that, it's a really fun map, and honestly might tie Dead of the Night as my favorite map. That means first place is 9 with 26 votes. First of all, I want to point out that many people chose this map and have said that they chose this map because they never played any other Black Ops 4 maps, so this was kind of just the default. So if you think that's unfair for the other maps, then make Ancient Evil number 1 and honestly probably drop 9 below Dead of the Night, because out of the 26 people, I would say I saw about 8 people say that they only chose this because they never played any other ones. However, a ton of people also just love this map. They love the Gladiator Arena. Again, another amazing setting. Black Ops 4 really cooked with half of its maps and then really simmered with the other half. They love the Easter egg. They love all about it. It's really similar to Horizon Shock, where it's really easy to learn, but really hard to master. Honestly, 9 is like Black Ops 4's Horizon Shock. This map is just phenomenal, and I honestly struggle to find errors in the map itself that aren't in Black Ops 4's mechanics as a whole. You get rid of the issues with the perk systems and the guns and the quad packing and all that stuff, and you replace it with your favorite zombies mechanics or zombies mode, then 9 is almost a perfect map. Black Ops 4 is so controversial, but honestly, if you haven't tried it yet, you should try all of the maps. But besides the Aether story itself, the Aether maps are still really fun, and the Chaos maps are some of the best in the series. Now on to Modern Zombies with Call of Duty Cold. So originally I had a whole Cold War segment planned out, but the audio completely bugged out. Hold on, can we bring back the 9 gameplay? Okay, thanks. So I had a whole segment planned out, but the whole audio bugged out. So we're just gonna have to move on to BO6. Here's all the rankings. Maui won in a big landslide. Can no one really be surprised? So we're just gonna move on to BO6 now. And now for the most recent as of making this, Black Ops 6. Black Ops 6 is a super fun zombies game. It feels really nice, the story's good, and the maps feel like a return to form. I could actually see all these maps in some form in Black Ops 1, 2, or 3. So without further ado, in last place is The Tomb with 2 votes. Okay, remember I said how like most of the maps are pretty good, and I could see that all of these being in Black Ops 1, 2, or 3. The Tomb is the only one I cannot see. The Tomb is probably the only quote-unquote bad map in BO6, purely because of the fact that they couldn't get much voice acting because at the time SAG-AFTRA voice actor strike, where voice actors and actresses were striking against AI usage taking over them, and just instead of hiring an actor, having an AI just do the voice readings, pretty much eliminating a creative job, which many people are very much against. But then other than that, the map is just a plain one. The actual dig site is uninteresting. The Tomb is cool but bland. The ice staff came back, which is cool, but it's okay. The voice parts are actually pretty cool. The boss zombie is the Mimic again. It's just a very middling map. There isn't much to say. However, if you are playing the high round, it is one of the most fun maps to high round on because of how broken the ice staff is and how, frankly, easy the map is. So it's really easy if you want to just shut off your mind and get to like round 150 over the course of like 2 days and then just leave. Barely edging out the Tomb is Liberty Falls with 3 votes. Liberty Falls is like the ascension or down of Black Ops 6. It's a simple map and has some level of nuance, but overall relies on the fact that it's just a survival map. However, many of the voters felt like it was a better town. And since town was the best survival map and the best part of transit in Black Ops 2, to have a map that spiritually succeeds town and makes the jet gun not the worst fucking thing in existence is quite nice. Furthermore, Liberty Falls is how many new fans are getting into the series, and the map itself explains the zombies mode as a whole very well. It immediately sets down the Pack-a-Punch quest. You'll see the room where you can build the jet gun. You'll see the perks. You'll see the zombies. You'll start to understand the mode within 2 to 3 games, and then within 10, you'll probably have built the jet gun. It's a really good tutorial map for the zombies mode. So I think that makes it a good map in my book. Next is the newest map in the series, The Reckoning, with 6 votes. Some say they voted this map because of new map bias. Others said they might have voted for it if they had more time to play it before making their vote. But some people made a really good point. Reckoning is Die Rise done right. Reckoning actually took the idea of a vertical map and made something very fun out of it. Unlike Die Rise, you can't fall off, which the fact that you could ever fall off of a map is so fucking stupid. But you can't fall off. The Easter egg is fun. The fact that it has 2 different separate ending bosses for the Easter egg is so fun. It's overall a great map. The only issues is that it can feel a little bland sometimes, and the wonder weapon is a bit of a disappointment. The map doesn't really have any eye-catching set dressing or design, and it just feels like a pretty standard map. But The Reckoning is a really good map and definitely took a vertical idea and did it really well. Alongside that, Uber Klaus and the Klaus drones are really fun boss zombies that are actually like difficult. Like Uber Klaus still gives me a fucking run for my money during the higher rounds. Like it's actually interesting and he kind of throws a little bit of a wrench in the loop that is refreshing. So Reckoning is a good but not fantastic map. So I think this placing makes a lot of sense. Smack dab in the middle. In third place, we have the second launch map, Terminus, with 17 votes. I am not a huge fan of Terminus, so I will instead point out the great parts that the community listed verbatim. The setting on Terminus is amazing. That's something I can agree with. Alcatraz, but you could boat off to other smaller islands and you can explore this kind of tropical dungeony feel of the whole area. The Wonder Weapon and boss are both amazing. The Beam Smasher is a super fun Wonder Weapon to high round with, and Patient 13 really set the standard for the rest of BO6 and BO7's boss zombies. While Terminus may have its flaws, it's still a very good map objectively, and you can see that reflected in its rankings. I don't have personally much to say on this map, so that's why it's a bit of a shorter one right now. So we're going to move on to second place with Citadel Daymore with 19 votes. Citadel is just such a fantastic map. It is just a blast to run through. The swords, while some better than others, like objectively better than others, are so much fun. And the design is really original and calls back to older maps like Horizon Rock, and with some of the references to like Origins and stuff. The Easter egg is super fun. The only thing that is an issue is the layout. While design and setting are really good, the map can feel really circular and also really confining. And there is pretty much only one place to comfortably run high rounds. And unless you're going to camp, that's kind of boring. But that doesn't detract from the fact that it's just a phenomenal map. And the fact that it has some amazing side Easter eggs, main Easter egg, awesome wonder weapons, just awesome stuff to do that really shows that it is a fantastic map with flaws, but still an amazing map. Now for first place is Shattered Veil with 25 votes. Shattered Veil is unironically one of the best maps probably in the series. Now hold on. Brought back two of the most beloved wonder weapons, the Wonderwaff DG2 and Alpha Omega's Mark II upgrades, and did them better. It had a really cool setting. Being in the Liberty Falls mansion that we saw at the beginning was actually really cool and really exciting. Alongside, again, that researchy underpart. I'm a sucker for that type of shit. But the setting and the flow and the layout and the gameplay loop of the map, the Easter egg, the side Easter eggs, the Easter egg boss, the Z-Rex is fucking awesome. It's just an amazing map. The biggest issue, though, is that it takes great parts from older maps and makes a phenomenal map, but doesn't add much outside of the Easter egg. Like, that doesn't detract from the quality of playing, however, but it doesn't really do much of its own. The Raygun Mark II and Wonderwaff DG2 are from older games. The upgrades are pulled from Alpha Omega, albeit slightly different. The boss zombie is the disciple from the older games. It's good, but it doesn't really innovate much other than just making a good map. This map is an absolute blast though, and to prove that Modern Zombies is not bad. Sure, some of the mechanics may be wonky, but the quality, I would say, is still unchanged. I would say in certain aspects it's definitely gotten worse, but in certain aspects it's gotten a lot better. So I think that can really balance it out to say that it's gotten worse in some ways and better in others. So what can we take away from all of this? Well, a little bit. First of all maps are loved by people. Just because you do or don't like a map doesn't make it unloved by others, and doesn't mean that it should be judged or hated on so severely and so harshly. Maps like Die Rise, Tag the Tone, Alpha Omega, Tomb that are considered bad still had votes, and people who loved and vocally voiced their opinions on why they love those maps. Not just like, but love those maps. So we can see that even quote unquote bad maps aren't truly objectively bad. Furthermore, I noticed that while games like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 are considered the best in the series, their votes were more skewed towards one or two maps. Transit, mind you, was not voted at all. And I'm not saying these are bad games, but games like Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 1 have more spread out votes, and Black Ops 4 has all of their maps voted. So we see that certain games may be more beloved because of nostalgia, and the more recent ones be seen as lesser because it isn't what we grew up with. Like, when you get rid of a lot of Black Ops 2's maps, you really only have Origins, Mob of the Dead as phenomenal maps, Buried as a good map, and that's kind of it. While you have games like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 6 where a lot of people have said that every map is at least decent, which can't be said about Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3. So what do you think? my thoughts on maps, my opinions, the voting in the comments. And if this gets maybe a lot, then I'll do this with non-track maps. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe I'll scrounge up the money to purchase IW's DLC. Bottom of the line is, Black Ops Zombies sucks. I'm gonna play a real game.